Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the Women Who Lead anthology, Meet the Authors Night. I am Dr. Sharon, educator, author, entrepreneur, and speaker and compiler of Women Who Lead anthology. I am here with some extraordinary women tonight that's going to share everyone. Just a little bit about you. Thank you so much for joining the Women Who Lead anthology. Not sure what that's Meet about. The Authors Night. I am Dr. Sharon. Educator, got a little playback. It's live, guys, so bear with us. Lead anthology. I am here with some extraordinary women. There we go. So I am so excited to have, first of all, Miss Crystal Kelly. She is the founder of Power of Your Purse. I have Miss Tonia Walker. She is Director of Athletics from Winston-Salem State University. And I have Dr. Jarita Hagans, and she is a family practice doctor. So I am so excited. So I'm just going to let each one of them, starting with Dr. Hagans, then going to Miss Tonia Walker, and then Crystal Kelly, to just give just a brief overview of who you are and where you are. So Dr. Hagans, take it away.
Okay. Nice to join you. Thank you for inviting me. I am a family practice doctor. I'm a double Howard alum, college and medical school. And my passion is mentoring and using food as medicine.
Awesome. Thank you. Tonia?
Hi, I'm Tonia Walker, Director of Athletics for Winston-Salem State University. I am a Hampton alum and did my graduate work at Old Dominion University. I love helping and assisting and molding youth and transitioning them into adulthood and life beyond college by way of athletics.
Thank you. Ms. Crystal Kelly. Something happened, Crystal. We can't hear you. I don't know what happened. Okay, we'll come back to Crystal. Crystal, just give me a thumbs up when you get your volume working. So I wanted to just share just a little bit about Women Who Lead anthology. It really was the vision to have some extraordinary women from across the United States share their leadership journey, and not only the glitz and the glam, as I call it, but some of the struggles and the obstacles that they face to actually get to where they are today. And today we have some amazing women here that's going to share a little bit about their journey, share what they do, and why they are a woman who leads. So I'm going to start with Tonia Walker. She is the Director of Athletics from Winston-Salem State University. And that is my alma mater, so I'm excited. I am a Ram, a class of 92, and we are definitely gearing up for homecoming, so I know that's a big part of what you're doing, Tonia. So tell us a little bit about your job as a Director of Athletics at Winston-Salem State University.
Well, the first thing I'd say is it's a job that's in a man's world, and so that's definitely my first challenge, is always being prepared when I'm at the table, always doing my homework, my research. And you know, I was at a conference last week, and the president of the WNBA said her father would always tell her that you have to work twice as hard to gain half of the respect. And that's exactly what we do as women. There are only 25 women athletics directors in the collegiate level across all divisions, 1, 2, and 3, who do the job that I do. So I'm very fortunate, very blessed, and very passionate about the work that I do.
Wow. And you said 25?
25 minority women.
That is amazing. Oh my goodness. I definitely have to have you share a little more about that. And so you've actually been in athletic administration for almost 20 years or at 20 years?
Yes, I started in 1993 in the CIAA office, transitioned to Winston-Salem State University in 2000, came in as the assistant director of athletics and head volleyball coach, transitioned out into full administration, coached 3 years, served as interim director twice in my career, and have been in this position for the last 4.
Oh, wow. That is absolutely amazing. And I'm actually going to come back to you because you have so many accolades in your tenure as a director of athletics. I'm like, oh my goodness, I was reading all the information and I was like, wow, such an honor. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm so excited that you will be a part of this journey to share with that. So we will definitely come back with you for that. Crystal, did you get your microphone up? Nope, not yet. Okay, we're still working on that. We'll work on that. So, Dr. Hagans, you are a medical doctor actually in the Maryland area. So, can you just share a little bit of light about your practice, how long you've been doing that? Just share a little bit of your background with us with that.
Okay. So, I'm currently on staff at Kaiser in Maryland, but my beginning of my career, I worked in New Orleans. Straight out of residency, I went to New Orleans and worked in community clinics for about 4 years there. And then I came back home and started doing locums work, which is kind of like a temp agency for doctors, and moved around and filled in for doctors in different places. But I'm currently working at Kaiser and working on opening my own office.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Very good. And so how long have you been practicing?
Next year will make 10 years.
Oh, wow. How exciting. Oh, my goodness. So we are talking to a director of athletics and a medical doctor. And in a few minutes, we're going to talk to the founder of Power of Your Purse, Miss Crystal Kelly. So, Tonia, I'm going to go back to you. I was reading that you actually, you received the CIAA Director of the Year. So exactly when was that? And tell us about that process.
So that was actually the last academic year in 16-17, and a vote by my peers, other athletics directors across the conference. But when I tell you that it's truly a work of teamwork, I cannot do that by myself. It's the success of our programs, it's our academic successes, it's the opportunity to serve and to grow in the profession. So that was not an award that I received selfishly. I extend that and embrace my staff and all of our student athletes for helping me achieve that goal.
Wow, amazing. And so and I know Winston-Salem State, we've been in CIAA for a long time, then we went to MEAC for a little bit, and now we're back in CIAA. Can you just share just a little bit for those of us who are not as knowledgeable of that process? So what does that really mean?
Okay, well, I'll go back before I go forward to say that I've been engaged in CIAA. And truly, when they say CIAA for life, that's truly who I am. I was a basketball player, softball player for Hampton University, so I lived it, I played it. I upon graduation, I went to work for the CIAA, so I was a part of it, entrenched in the work of CIAA, the basketball tournament, etc. Went to Winston-Salem and was a member institution, and we began that transition. It was a 5-year process, and in year 4, changed leadership under the chancellor, and it was decided that we would remain Division II. So we returned to the CIAA. And so I've sat as truly a fan of CIAA when we transitioned into the MEAC, came back as a member, and now we retain our membership in CIAA. So I've seen it in so many different ways. That decision to pursue a Division I transition and retain our Division II status was truly based upon the leadership and the direction and philosophy of the two different chancellors. I personally believe that it's where we're supposed to be at this current time. Division II CIAA is a part of our history, it's a part of our foundation. That's not to say that we will never return and attempt a Division I pursuit in the future, but currently it's where we're supposed to be.
Okay, very good. I love it. Crystal? Let's see. Crystal? Okay, I'm not really sure. We'll find out what's going on in just 1 second. Okay, so Dr. Hagans, let's go back to you now. Can you tell us what your chapter is and tell us a little bit about your chapter?
Okay, so my chapter, I would say that the theme of it is never give up, because people see where I am now and they're like, oh, it's amazing, you're a doctor, your parents must be proud of you, et cetera, et cetera. But it was a hard road. It was full of failure, but I would say that I failed forward. that I was able to kind of pick myself up and dust myself off through having trouble with standardized testing and having issues with getting placed after residency and just trying to get into medical school and working with my first job. It's just a lot of obstacles, but that's really the theme of the chapter, to never give up.
Awesome. And in writing your chapter, what did you find was a little challenging for you to actually put down and publish? Because I know you're a published author already with MD Dreams, but tell us a little bit about, going back and reflecting on your challenges getting to where you are.
When you asked me to participate in it, I kind of hesitated a little bit because I was like, I'm not really sure if I'm a leader. Because I've been in so-called leadership positions before, been a medical director at the clinics where I worked in New Orleans, but now I won't say just a staff physician, but I'm a staff physician. There aren't a lot of people that I'm in charge of day to day. So I was like, am I really a leader? I'm not really sure. But then I started thinking of it in a different way. I guess I am a leader in that I have a lot of mentees and people that look up to me that I kind of try to guide through, try to guide them on their way as they're trying to become physicians. So I think that's where my leadership lies, kind of reaching behind me and showing people the pathway, like, oh no, don't do this. I did this and this happened. And this is how you can get around this issue with standardized testing. This is how you can get along with your professors. This is how you get into these roles in leadership positions. This is how you make the most of your residency. So it's kind of a self-discovery into figuring out what my role as a leader is.
Okay. Awesome. And so going to you, Ms. Walker, I read the press release that actually came out for you, and I understand that your sales are actually going to go towards the athletics department and more so the women's sports. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I decided as a female student athlete, what a better cause than to donate my proceeds back to our female sports programs. As a women's leader or someone that's given the opportunity, it's my philosophy that we should all reach back, teach, and to pull one forward. So that was my goal. That was my desire, to make sure that I'm able to enhance in whatever capacity our women's programs at Winston-Salem State University.
That is phenomenal. So tell us a little bit about, tell us your chapter title, and just tell us a little bit about what your chapter is going to speak to.
So my chapter is entitled Still Blossoming. My life's philosophy is bloom where you're planted. I just truly believe that we are to embrace where we are. We're there for a reason, and to do our very best at whatever capacity or wherever we land. And so I've entitled my chapter Still Blossoming. It's about my journey. It's about my faith walk. It's about never giving up, reaching back those mentors that poured into me, and my obligation to do the same thing for my mentees and for others that come behind me.
That is absolutely awesome. And so what do you, and this is for either of you, what do you hope your chapter does for the young women that's coming behind us? Because just transparency, this book for me was for the young ladies. I want them to read the stories and be able to say, wow, they did it, I can do it too. So what is your hope? What is your message, your overall message that you want the reader, and more specifically that young girl, that young woman who is coming up now, what message do you want them to get out of your chapter?
For me, it's time to move the needle. It's time for us. We've earned our seat at the table. We will be prepared when we get there, but it's time to move the needle and to share with the world that women can do just what we set out to do. And it's our obligation as women, all authors for this book, to be able to share a message of encouragement, of hope, because they get an opportunity to see women who look like them, which many of us didn't. I didn't have a female athletics director, a minority female athletics director to emulate, to be poured into. So had I had that now, wow, imagine where I would be, but I didn't. So I truly believe that's my obligation, that's my calling, it's my ministry, and that's what I choose to do.
That's awesome. What about you, Dr. Hagans?
Mine is kind of along the same lines. I feel like people are looking for, what's the word I want to use? Your mind's eye kind of needs something to focus on. Like if you can't see it, then you can't be it. And you kind of have to be able to imagine the place where you're going. And it's helpful to be able to see somebody who's done it before, or to see somebody who's done something similar to what you're trying to do, to kind of figure out which way to go. And the path might still be not a straight line. You may have some setbacks and failures and things. And I think that that's one of the goals of my chapter, to try to kind of help people reframe the things that are happening to them, so that they don't use it as a marker to say that maybe this isn't what I should be doing. There was a quote from somebody who said that all delays are not denials. Just because it doesn't happen immediately or happen as smooth as you think it should happen, doesn't mean that it's not your purpose. It may just mean that you need to work a little harder, or climb in a different window, or whatever it is that you need to do to get to that ultimate goal.
Absolutely. And I will say, those of you who are watching live, and thank you so much for joining in. If you have a question, because we have just a few more minutes here with our authors, if you have a question, please type it in so I can give it to the one that you would like answered. And we will certainly do that while we finish up. And hopefully Crystal will get back on here soon. If not, she will definitely be on an additional Monday. So let's go back to Tonia. Homecoming, that's 2 weeks away. And I'm sure this is probably one of the most craziest time for you, especially with all the wonderful festivities that are coming up with the anniversary of the university. My 25th class reunion is actually coming up, class of 92, and we're participating in the Founders Day convocation. So what is that like for you, homecoming? You know, HBCUs, we love our homecoming. So what is that like for you as a director of athletics?
So it's nothing like homecoming. And, you know, we try to make sure that we create a memorable opportunity and occasion for all of our alumni who are doing that, who are coming home. So the festivities are planned. We've been meeting for the last 6 or 7 months as an institution, all of the administrators, student groups, to make sure that we can plan one memorable homecoming in the midst of the 125th anniversary.
Just awesome. I'm so excited. I'm so excited about that. Oh my goodness. And I love the fact, you know, so you are a pirate, and I love it. And you are a Ram, because you are part of the Ramily now that you're here. So I love it. I love it. I love it. And it's nothing like coming home. Winston is actually my home. So I grew up in Winston. And so in K-12 education in Forsyth County, Winston-Salem State was all we knew growing up, and I'm sure it's the same way. So when I actually decided to go there upon graduating from Carver High School, it was like that was just what I was supposed to do, and I am so grateful that I did. So I would just like to say, just hats off to you guys, to our new chancellor, whom we just adore. And just everyone who make it such a wonderful time to come back home. So I just wanted to say that on behalf of all of our alumni. So thank you very much for that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, okay, Jarita, we're going to come back to you. Then we'll swing back to Tonia for an end. I'm looking at questions. None yet. So, Dr. Jarita, you went to medical school. What was the turning point for you prior to doing that residency? And I know that there had to be some times that you said, am I really going to get through this? Because I just finished my doctorate, my academic doctorate, and I felt that way. So I know for an MD, you had to come up to some challenges to say, wow, am I really going to get through this? Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
I would say my biggest obstacles, well, in the beginning, my biggest obstacles were standardized testing. And as a doctor, you're taking standardized tests your entire life. So you kind of got to figure out what you're doing there or you're going to keep having issues. So I had a lot of issues in the beginning with the licensure exam. And so I ended up going to a course and figuring out that I had like test taking anxiety and figuring out with that. Once I got rid of that and was able to knock down those standardized tests, it was pretty much smooth sailing with the academic book part of it. But then when you get into residency and you get into your clinicals for medical school and all, then you're getting into figuring out how to make decisions. Basically all day long you're trying to decide, is this person sick enough to go to the hospital? Can they be managed at home? If I do this, what's going to happen? So it's kind of scary being the person at the end of the ambulance ride. Is you're the person who has to do something and you're the person who has to make all the decisions. And that's really what residency is about, learning how to make those decisions and learning what signs and symptoms are going to change your mind and cause you to do something different. I can't say that anything happened that made me want to quit, but it's just tiring. It's a lot of things to do during residency, and especially when you're the intern, when you're the first year resident, everything that's dirty and disgusting is your job to do. So you're running around the hospital all night long, trying to stop people from bleeding, basically putting out fires all night long. So it's tiring. Wow. But I guess that's how you figure out that's what you really want to do. Even though it's exhausting, it's still exciting.
Yes. Awesome. Yeah. So Tonia, you actually have two questions here. One from your fellow co-author, Devay Campbell. She says, since you didn't see or know people or women in your field who were like you, who inspired you or who inspires you?
Yes. So I guess it's crazy, my background, because my degree, undergrad, is in speech pathology. So I was at Hampton with a desire to be an audiologist or a speech pathologist. And, I think a part of that life lesson for me is that someone's always watching, someone's always paying attention. And so I was a 2-sport athlete. I had someone that reached out to say, I need you to stay for the summer, play on my team, my softball team, and I'll find you a job. They linked me with the CLAA. So I kind of fell into my career path. Once I was with the CLAA, the blinders were off for me and it's like, yes, this is my passion. This is what I want to do. From that point, I sought out people who were willing to embrace me. I listened a lot. And although there weren't many female athletics directors, there were some females that were in the profession that I would be able to call. I have a very special mentor in Alfreda Goff, who was an athletics director who came into the conference sometime after I was there, who took me under her wing. And when I did not want to step forward, she pushed me. And to this day, she's one of my biggest advocates, my biggest supporters. And were it not for her, I wouldn't be sitting here with you today as the AD.
Wow. Woo, I got chills off of that. Okay, you have another question from Chanel Brown. She says, what was one of the hardest lessons that you've learned, and what did you take away from it that helped you to grow?
Go with your gut. I think oftentimes in the hiring, when you have an opportunity to be at the table, you have an opportunity to influence and to bring talented people onto your staff that only enhances your team and enhances what you do. I made a decision to follow the lead of a committee as opposed to going with my gut. And my gut was telling me all along it was not a good fit. And, I had to suffer through it. I had to teach, train, and eventually manage that person out. But what I learned from it was always listen to your gut. That's your inner intuition. It's telling you something. It's there for a reason. And that's a very important part of decision making.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Guys, I don't know if you caught this, but this was an amazing interview tonight with two extraordinary women who have extraordinary achievements. And you know, when I titled this book, Women Who Lead, this is the type of things that I envision. And Tonia, are you the first female AD at Winston-Salem State University?
I'm the second. Actually, I was hired by a female.
Wow.
Her name is Ann Little. And she transitioned shortly after I came, but I am the second.
Okay, awesome. I tell you, and I am just so elated. I mean, these are things that young girls can look at and say, well, you know what, I can do that. And we know we just had that big, sports question that, came across the media the other day. But I just want you, Tonia, to share with everyone who's viewing this live, who's going to listen to the replay, just what you expect from your position to the world, because we know you're in a male-dominated industry. We know that. But you hold your position well. I see you. I know you're confident. So what's your expectation for all of these individuals out here when they come see Tonia Walker as the Director of Athletics at Winston-Salem State University?
Yes. So I would say when they see Tonia, they see all of us. It's my opportunity and my obligation to help move that needle. And I keep talking about the needle. It extends far beyond the HBCU, but all over this country, we are a vital part of the successes that take place in athletics across this country. And we have earned our seat at the table. We have a voice. We add to the dynamic of what's going on in the athletic arena. I have an obligation as a board member of Women's Leaders to help increase diversity that's seen in the conferences, that's seen at the institutions, that's seen across all universities, because we have, the only thing we need is an opportunity. And if given that opportunity, we have a chance for success.
Awesome. And what about you, Dr. Hagans, in the medical world? What would you say to these young ladies out here coming from the medical doctor?
What I would say is it's not necessarily all about trying to be the most knowledgeable person in the room, because I'll tell the patient every time, okay, if I don't know what's wrong with you, then this is what we're going to do. We're going to send you to a specialist or what have you. But I think the key is to really listen to people and really try to be helpful. One of my mentors once told me, if you listen long enough, the patient will tell you what's wrong with them. And whether you're expecting to see me or not, whether you want to see me or not, a lot of people are surprised when I come to the room and they're like, "Oh, you're the doctor?" Yeah, I'm the doctor. And they tell me they were expecting a man, or they thought I would be someone else or what have you. But by the end of that appointment, they're trying to switch their doctor to me because I listened to you and we come up with a plan together. So I think that's really a super important thing. No matter what kind of industry you're in, you have to listen to the people that they serve and try to over-deliver. Okay,
awesome. Well, ladies, we have come to the end of our interview. I personally just want to say thank you. And those of you who were on to see Crystal, we're not sure what happened with the technology on that end, but please be assured she will be on one of the Monday nights that we have slated for the Women Who Lead anthology, Extraordinary Women with Extraordinary Achievements. Please follow us on Instagram, on Twitter, and Facebook at Women Who Lead. At WWL Anthology, and also subscribe to our updates at womenwholeadanthology.com. Our book is set to release January 2018, and we do anticipate quite a few book signings in North Carolina, in the Washington, D.C. area, in the Atlanta area, possibly in the Raleigh-Durham area, and even in California. So we are excited, and I didn't say it in Atlanta. So we are planning an event in Atlanta as well. So if you are in any of those locations, please make sure that you look out for us. We will come and just wow you with the stories that these young ladies have. So thank you, Tonia. Thank you, Dr. Hagans. I am so excited that you are on this journey with us. Viewing audience, replay audience, please look out for Women Who Lead Anthology. So thank you, guys. Good night and have a wonderful, wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.